Hello, my name is Becky Allen. This is my sign name, and I work as a British Sign Language interpreter. At the moment, I'm working with the Royal Shakespeare Company, and I'm ever so busy because I'm translating a play called Love's Labour's Won. This is the sign I use for it. Now, on Thursday, the 30th of April, the Royal Shakespeare Company will be broadcasting Love's Labour's Won to schools around the UK. And you will be watching the play. And I'm here now to provide you with some information which we hope will make you feel prepared and ready to watch the play. First of all, I'm going to explain about the character sign names. I'm going to use the computer to show you a photograph, then I'll fingerspell their name, and then I'll show you their sign name. Don Pedro. This is his sign name. Don John. And his sign name. Beatrice, and here's her sign name. Benedict, and his sign name. Hero, and here's hers. Claudio, and his sign name. Leonardo, and this is his sign name. Antonio, and his sign name. Balthazar, and this is his. Margaret, and her sign name. Ursula, and here's hers. Borachio, and this is his sign name. Conrad, and here's his. Dogberry, and this is his sign name. Verges, and this is his sign name. And finally, Friar Francis, and this is his sign name. And I just wanted to let you know as well that students from Allerton Grange School in Leeds helped me create those sign names, so thank you very much to you. Now next I'm going to give you a brief synopsis of the play to try and explain what happens throughout the play. So at the top of the play there are 4 characters, Don Pedro, Don John, Benedict and Claudio, who've recently been involved in the war. And now when the war has finished, they arrive at the house of Leonardo. Now there at the house is Beatrice, and something important to let you know is that for quite some time, Beatrice and Benedict have had an absolute battle of wits. And when the 4 men arrive back at the house after the war, that battle of wits starts again. Now next in the play, Claudio sees Leonardo's daughter, Hero, and thinks she is gorgeous. He falls for her, but feels really unsure about whether he can go and talk to her. He feels way too shy. So Don Pedro offers to help, explaining that tonight there'll be a masked party and that Don Pedro could take Claudio's mask and pretend to be Claudio, thereby meaning that he can go and talk to Hero and explain Claudio's love, and she will think that Don Pedro is Claudio. Now next we come to Don John, who is a jealous and bad-tempered man. And when Don John is told that Claudio fancies Hero, he thinks this is his ultimate opportunity to create some trouble. But he's not sure how. However, his servant Borachio comes up with a plan which he explains to Don John. Borachio says that he will go to Hero's bedroom. He will climb up to her window because in the bedroom is Margaret. But something really important to know is that Margaret isn't dressed like Margaret. She's taken some of Hero's clothes and put them on, which means that if you looked at Margaret with those clothes on, you would be easily forgiven for thinking that that is Hero. So that when Borachio climbs up to the window and kisses Margaret, anyone looking at that window would think that it is Hero kissing Borachio. Don John thinks this is a great idea. Now, at the same time in the play, Don Pedro has become absolutely fed up with Beatrice and Benedict arguing and wants them to get it together. So he, with Leonato and Claudio, go to the living room because they know Benedick is in there hiding. Now, the three men have a very loud conversation about the fact that they think, or they indeed know, that Beatrice loves Benedick, and they are sure that Benedick will overhear this conversation, which he does. From behind the curtain, he hears them and thinks, oh my goodness, Beatrice loves me. He's amazed, but then very thrilled by this idea as well. Now, simultaneously, Hero, Margaret and Ursula have set up a similar situation whereby Beatrice has gone to a tower and she's looking out from the window down to the ground where Hero and Ursula are stood, again having a very loud conversation about how they know that Benedick loves Beatrice. And of course, Beatrice, from the top of the tower, overhears this conversation and can't believe it. She can't believe that Benedick loves her. Initially, she's very shocked, but again, rather thrilled by this. Now, next, Don John persuades Don Pedro and Claudio to come and look up at Hero's bedroom window because there Borachio is kissing Margaret. But remember, Margaret is dressed like Hero. So when Don Pedro and Claudio look up, they think they've seen Hero having an affair with Borachio. Claudio is aghast and says that tomorrow at the church where they're meant to be getting married, he is going to inform everybody that Hero has been having an affair. So the next day at the church, everyone's there ready for the wedding to happen. Friar Francis is there, Claudio's in his place, and Hero comes in. But Claudio then informs everybody that Hero is a fraud. She's been having an affair. And Hero can't believe this. She says it's not true. She gets extremely upset, but everyone in the church thinks, Hero is guilty. But there's only one person who believes Hero, and that's Friar Francis, who says, wait, hang on a minute, everyone. I believe Hero, and I want all of you to do something for me. I want you to pretend that Hero has died, because I need more time to gather evidence to show that Hero is not guilty. Then, next what happens is that Borachio and Conrad are walking along, and Borachio is bragging about his involvement in the plan to frame Hero. But unbeknownst to him, Dogberry and his watch hear this happening and arrest Borachio. Borachio then confesses. He tells the truth that it was his fault. He was the one that organised the plan, and that indeed Hero is not guilty. Leonato feels bad, but comes up with an idea and says to Claudio, now, my brother has a daughter who looks exactly the same as Hero, and I want you, Claudio, to marry her to try and make up for what's happened. Claudio agrees, and the next day, the wedding, or the second wedding, happens. There's the friar, there's Claudio, and there's a woman coming up the aisle with a veil. When she gets to the front, she lifts that veil, and everyone cannot believe their eyes because it is Hero. Claudio and Hero are reunited and they marry. And at long last, Beatrice and Benedick, their war of wits finishes and they also marry. And then finally, Don John is arrested. So next, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the topic of malapropisms. Which this is the sign that I use for malapropisms. Now, to explain what a malapropism is, I'd like to show you an example. So, if I wanted to say that this lady can write with both hands, I would say she's ambidextrous. But if a malapropism occurred, I would use a word which sounded similar to ambidextrous by mistake. So I might say, this lady can write with both hands. She's amphibious, which actually means she's like a frog, for example. So you can imagine that these can be quite funny. Now, the character of Dogberry in Love's Labours 1 is forever using malapropisms. But when Dogberry uses them, we give them a different term. We call them Dogberryisms. So, I've been thinking long and hard about how to translate malapropisms or Dogberryisms, because it's ever so tricky in that the joke or the humour that comes with a malapropism or a Dogberryism is based on how the words sound similar. So, for hearing students watching the play, this would be sort of easy to recognise when a joke happens. But I want to make sure that you as deaf students, when you're watching my BSL translation, have the opportunity to see that joke and see the malapropism and when it happens. So I had a chat with students and teachers from Allerton Grange School, and we shared ideas about how to possibly translate these. And we think we've come up with a solution of how I could translate malapropisms or Dogberryisms. So here's an example. This is one of Dogberry's lines where he says comparisons are odorous. But he says this because a malapropism has taken place. What he really wants to say is comparisons are odious. You'll see that malapropism has happened because the words odious and odorous sound similar. So when I translate this line into BSL, I'm going to sign this. I'm going to firstly sign the meaning. So I'm going to say comparisons are odious. Then I'm going to look to camera and I'm going to show that a Dogberryism or a malapropism has happened. And then I'm going to sign what he actually says so that hopefully you as deaf students will be able to see the meaning, the joke, and then a malapropism has happened. And I really hope this will be clear. So we hope when you watch Love's Labours 1 you really enjoy yourselves, and thank you ever so much for watching now. Bye bye.